Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 27th of February. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Congrats again to Mio24, almost took it down, eighth place in the main. You know what it took to have eighth place in the main, but we will review the lineup in a second as we go through lineup review, adding that back to the top of the show so we can make sure we're doing that right. Almost took down the night slate, won all the I forgot to enter some of the satellites that I normally enter, but I want all the satellites I entered. So I never feel bad about that. But then Keegan Murray came and took me out of contention for top prize on the slate. Obviously, had to have him on the night slate and on every slate because he smashed. Okay, so yeah, here's the lineup for Milk. Oh, just a point I always like to make. The Sims don't matter. I mean, your contest sims to an extent, the sim ROI on this lineup was negative before, and if you had a rule where you just threw away all negative lineups, you're throwing away the absolute best lineup in that group. Now I did see it got duped a bunch, right? Yeah, 272. So I guess that's using full salary on a slate like this. Even the top one, now they left 100 on the table, Greg and whoever Fizzle is. But there was still a dupe situation and it was a 4 game slate. So not ideal in that respect. Even second place, I think, was dupe. Yeah. So I don't know. Can you get away from it? Maybe. Um, yeah. Oh, I didn't even look at the Rainmaker. Well, don't really. Yeah. Who won up there? Just to see who won. Pop on in. Whistles go woo. With a sim ROI lineup of negative 1.8%. That's what it took yesterday because Barrett had to smash, Hart had to smash situations that at their ownership weren't that great, thus the situation. But no dupes, so congrats, dude. That's another nice hit. All right, now on to today's slate. I just saw a little bit of news came through, so let me just filter that in. We got Andrew Wiggins out. I will not respond quite as much as I did yesterday because that was nuts. But I knew I had some Andrew Wiggins, and if he's going to be out, what do I think that means for this team? So Wiggins is out. Wiggins is off the table, and I liked Wiggins. So I'm gonna have to replace probably. Yeah, I think that's probably going to make some of these bench guys look a little better for Golden State, and it makes the starter guys look a little bit better for Golden State. So let's sort them by. Yeah, so Chris Paul maybe definitely gets those minutes now, whereas before, no, I still think they ease him back in. He's been out for a while. B Pod's minutes maybe are more secure. I guess I probably think maybe he loves adding guys to the rotation, so I don't know. I think maybe more minutes for Gary Payton. Do I want to take like a significant flyer on Gary Payton now? Maybe. See who starts. I think Clay maybe is just more secure also. Kuminga. But they could do you see some Moses Moody or Key Nunez, right? I mean, they do that too. So enough of this trying to figure out what freaking that coach, the highest paid coach in basketball will do. Let's not do that. He can do what he wants. He's the highest paid man in basketball. Coach, man, I don't know if the probably highest paid coach. I think the coaches are paid less than the players in pro ball. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, slate's pretty obvious because wait, Trey's in, right? Or is he still hurt? Trey is out. Okay, Trey is out. So with Trey out, yeah, that's why we're getting to so much Dejounte. I got there, guys. I got there, guys. So yeah, we're Dejounte's core. Obviously, when Trey's out, Dejounte's core, it's a high scoring environment game. The other thing you got, I don't like being 0% Jalen Johnson. I might have to set a minimum here of matching the field on my Jalen Johnson just because Capella's still limited and they haven't been playing Fernando like they should. Now, Utah has been running backup Kessler. I don't think you can small ball backup Kessler, right? I mean, he's huge. It would be, I would not want too much of what Hunter or Jalen Johnson guarding Walter Kessler or Walter Kessler will smash you to pieces. So I think probably you have to have a little Bruno Fernando here to match your Walter Kessler, right? So we're giving 18 minutes to Bruno Fernando and how many to Walter Kessler? Maybe that's the play. So 24 to Walter Kessler plus, I mean, the starter's probably like John Collins. That's the thing. You can small ball John Collins, but okay, 30 plus 24. They've got some of Collins playing the four. That's fine. Okay. But yeah, the big play obviously from Utah is still that Hendricks price is not caught up with him being a starter after the break. So that's going to be our other core play here. I just want to finish making sure I've got Bruno Fernando right while I'm thinking about it. So adding 6 minutes here, I think, is what I'm going to do. To his, if he gets there, like it's reasonable to think that he gets these minutes today. So if he does, he's the best play on the slate. So I just have to. What I think the odds are 25%. We just don't have a big sample, and that's what makes it fun. And that's why when I'm playing GPPs, I'm definitely going to have 2x on Bruno Fernando today because it's just we don't know what they're going to do. And honestly, like the other, well, right, Dejounte, that's the issue. Dejounte is out there now as the point guard. And with Dejounte out there, you don't need a rim protector as much as you do when it's Trey, because when it's Trey, he's a small guy who can be taken to the basket. So I don't know. I guess that argument applies more. I mean, if you're in a Garrison Matthews unit, right? So if you have that backup weirdo running the point guard that like is also small, then maybe you need that. But I did just talk myself out of my Bruno Fernando bump to half of it. I talked myself out of half of it. I'll match the field. I just don't. I'll go over a little bit. I'm still like Bruno. If he gets his minutes, he will smash. All year long, they've been giving their bigs all of the minutes. Right. But last game they didn't. Last game, but what was the matchup? So it was let's look up Bruno Fernando stats. I know they didn't give him the minutes. It hurt. 19-19. Oh, 2 games ago was when I played him. Of course. Anyway, so you're going to get somewhere between 10 and 26 minutes from Bruno Fernando. I think the 26 was when he started, so probably more like 10 and 20 minutes from Bruno Fernando. Not ideal. 10 and 20 minutes. Let's go back to the minute. Because, like, for him to get 24, also, we have to confirm Capella's still on the same limit because they haven't played in a couple of days. I don't know. I'm gonna put him back where he was. Bruno Fernando's fine, but he's not a priority. Um, if we get news on the specific kind of limit from Capella, it's just tough because if they do straight split the center, then Bruno Fernando is a good play. So I don't know. I want to at least get a little bit of him, and to do that, I'm going to pretend they straight split the center, and I think 10% maybe is the odds that they do that. Okay. The other guys here, like, how much did Hunter wind up playing in that last game? 26 minutes. I think that's low. Hunter stats. That's probably not enough. Oh, it is. 28 minutes. And he has been going up to 30, so I think he might get a little bit more than 26. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw a couple more minutes Hunter's way. Because and it's not just minutes, it's that while he's in there, he's getting some more rebounds and stuff with Capella being limited and them running the small ball lineups. So I want a little bit more Hunter than I get natively. So I'm gonna add a little Hunter. Why I got so little Sadiq Bey? What's going on there? How many minutes are they giving Sadiq? He's just all these guys get a little bit of a bump. Yeah, they're giving him 35 minutes and 20. What's the usage like without Trey? Let's have a look. Doesn't seem right to me. Let's go up to Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, I told you guys I wasn't going to do a lot of tweaking and then this. Yeah, I just didn't make any sense. Once I saw Trey was off the court, I was like, wait, so only Dejounte looks like he's had his number changed here. We need to change everybody's number. Okay, so yeah, Bruno Fernando is just, I mean, obviously not any minutes in the sample. 39.6 for Jalen Johnson. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, that's so much different than what I'm looking at. Oh, no, okay. They've given Jalen the points. Bogdan. We're giving Bogdan points. I don't see enough points for Bogdan. Oh, 33. Okay. So the big boost is Hunter. So where's Hunter at? 36.7 in 36 minutes. Okay, and he's not going to get 36 minutes. We assume he gets how many minutes? 26. Yeah. Mm, mm. But you're right. We saw 28 was his last game. So we're thinking he might get more like 28 or 30 minutes. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Huh, I wish I could get to more of these guys. I like the Atlanta guys as guys, but I just don't, I can't finesse it. Okay, so back to where we were at the top. Dejounte, so yeah, the other part of this slate is that all the Chicago guys are kind of underpriced. They're playing Detroit, so that's the concern you have here. Like I don't really want Chicago guys to be core because what do I think? 50-50 chance that game blows out. So many of these games are like that though. Like I don't know. I can't for sure say a guy in a blowout isn't part of optimal tonight. One, two, three, four, five. Five of these games have a line of 8 or more. So like, yeah, there's 9 games on the slate. Oh, right, 6. Did I miss one over here? Yep, 6. So, you know, 6 out of 9 are going to probably blow out. And, it's the other ones that probably will as a result of the past NBA stupidness. And it'll probably be the team that's like supposed to lose by 4 that wins by 40 or whatever. But generally speaking, yeah, the Chicago guys don't generally score a lot of points. They play a slow game, and they're playing Detroit, which gives up infinity points. So that's why you're getting to a lot of Chicago guys. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not going to not get to them a lot. It's just that I'm not going to be like 60%. 50-50, 35, somewhere in that range. I guess let's split the difference, put us around 40, be slightly overweight on some of these Chicago guys without being like so all in on the game. Because like even with Vooch, you could get foul trouble against Duran. Eh, yeah, Duran's big. I mean, big-ish. So you can hear me negotiating some of these guys. Caps, Lonnie Walker, I don't know what this projection is. Has he been playing that much? Can we really justify him for how many minutes this is? 23 minutes from Lonnie Walker. Yeah, he's been out. I mean, I've seen him out on the court. Let's have a look. Lonnie Walker stats. 20 minutes. Wait, they gave him a lot more minutes. Where's that? Right, they gave him like 24, 23. So I don't know quite where that's coming from. Somebody's out for Brooklyn, like some not that important person at this point. Okay, I don't really know what I'm going to do with that. Yeah, what am I going to do with? I didn't do much with the Wiggins news. So right, because of Pino, I think it's just going to be another guy entering the rotation. So that's why I didn't do anything there. Any more news? Let me check my underdog just to make sure I'm not missing anything obvious. Okay, Cam Thomas. That's right. That's right. So I missed that. I missed that. Cam Thomas, right. Went out of the game with the ankle. We're assuming he's out tonight with the ankle. So with Cam Thomas out, that's why we're getting a few more minutes for Lonnie. They're assuming he starts and runs a little bit of a starter rotation. That's fine. So assuming he does, he's a great play, and you're going to have a few other plays on Brooklyn that open up with Cam Thomas not out. But Orlando's a slow-ish game. There's a reason they're not up here at the top of the list. You know what? Like, yeah, I think Kuzma's core. Number one, I don't believe in Golden State. I think Golden State's one of the worst teams in the league. So I know that how is that rude? I don't know. Where are they ranked? They're probably not one of the worst teams in the league, are they? Golden State rankings. Yeah, they're like one of the how many teams are in the league? Yeah, they're towards the bottom. So yeah, the other team might be not great on the East. Wizards are like pretty bad, 9-48, but Warriors are not great. There's like slightly above 500 on any given night. I mean, could they get blown out by Washington? Yeah, they could get blown out by Washington real easy. I can see it. They're bad. Like anyway, I won't um yeah, I won't go much further than to say I'm going to have too much Kuzma tonight. Kuzma is priced from all of the blowouts. And really, they're playing him a lot, even in blowouts. Like when they're down 25 in the fourth, they got some agreement where they'll let him get stats until like 3-4 minutes left. So he's getting out there. And I mean, like how many minutes are we even projecting him for? Not that many. Yeah, 35. In 35 minutes, he's enough to be core. So could he get extended past that if the game's close? Yeah. And then you got to have it. So Dejounte Murray, Taylor Hendricks, Kyle Kuzma form your absolutely top core. Io's fine, but he's like Coby. I don't want more Io than I have Coby. Let's tie them both at like 45. And they're not like separate. It's just that I don't want more exposure to one than both. I don't have any. Oh yeah, I do have some rules, but not about them. But let me tell you about my rules. Sorry it took so long. I know you guys like me to get into those. I did max 2 out of 3 for the New Orleans big 3 and I boosted them a little bit. I never think they're given enough. Their median projection is appropriate because I think they're all kind of like up and down guys, right? Like you have Zion smash games, you have Zion mid games, you have Ingram smash games, Ingram mid games, and you have McCollum hitting his shots, McCollum not. So I think all of them are kind of like bigs in that sense, and that never more than 2 of them can get there as a result of usage limits. So that's why we have the rules like they are. Who knows if they're holding us back or propping us up. The other one we do is Minnesota, because I think they have a pretty well-established rotation. Also, this one's just like worked really well for me throughout the year. I love having too much exposure to Nas. That's what this gives me, right? So in this Minnesota game, the problem with this game is I do believe in this blowout. I don't think San Antonio really can keep it close unless they, I don't know, give us a full 34 minutes of Wemby or something. So if it's a blowout, it's not that attractive, right? Because these guys have to get there in blowout minutes, and Nas can get squeezed out off the bench, like you saw with Schroder last night, getting squeezed on the bench. You were unlucky if you played Schroder. He was smashing and smashing and then benched. Speaking of, are they on the slate? No, not today. Okay. But yeah, so I really like, I mean, if we're getting 0.75% Nas Reed, yes, I'm going to definitely have 0.75% Nas Reed. And that's part of what the rule is there to give me, because what do I think the odds are of either Gobert or Cat getting in foul trouble? Against Wemby? Yeah, good. Definitely. Either one of them. 15% seems low, if I'm being honest. Like, I might lean into this edge a bit more. I mean, really, 25%. I mean, Gobert's going to try to block Wemby every time, show him up. I'm the defensive player of the year. I don't like you getting all those blocks, right? He seems like the kind of guy who gets caught up in that. So I think I think 15 is conservative for percentage on Nas Reed tonight. Now, I know he's priced high, like 5K or something, 56K for a backup, but a backup who's going to play like, I mean, 25, 30 minutes, like a lot of minutes, 24. Yeah. I think 24 is conservative for Nas. So I might have to lean into this further. If we're really going to be 1%, I like making 20x, 25x stands. So I might pop this up to 20. Yeah. I got 2 different reasons. I think that, yeah, both, I think there's a 25% chance he just gets the minutes anyway alongside the other guys. And I think there's a 25% chance that the other guys get in foul trouble. So I just have to lean into Nas more. It's still not quite a core play, right? Like exposure's not there, but just showing you how I lose money today is going to be having too much Nas Reed for medium amounts of a reason. Foul trouble caused by Wemby. That's the reason. Schroder is on the slate. What team's he on now? Brooklyn. Oh yeah. Yep, we're playing Schroder. And like how many minutes did he play yesterday? 31? Is that right? I thought he played more. And that's the team that has Cam Thomas went out right at the end. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Yeah, 26 minutes. He could definitely play 32. But let's look at the popcorn machine from when Lonnie. Well, when did he go out? It was a blowout already. Yeah, never mind. I remember the circumstance because I needed him to do well. Okay, so let's check. Oh, basketball's full. Did I RSVP? I think I did. Okay. All right, so Coby White, IO, Schroder. Yeah, these guys are all good at the top. Don't mind any of these guys. Caruso, everybody on like all the Bulls are underpriced because they're going to be just beating on Detroit. And I mean, you can play some Detroit guys. That's fine. None of them they don't seem like priorities early on. Because they're all there. You know what I mean? Like Duran probably, I would guess probably have some Duran. No, there's just too many other options. Not even a smidge of Duran. I don't know what the deal is with 30% Eugene Amruri. Like, did he get a ton of minutes? Like, what's that about? Eugene Amruri stats. Yeah, they don't even have like the Google Knowledge graph to pull it up. I don't think he played that much, right? 15 minutes, fine, but I mean, not enough to be projecting him for like 30% on this slate, right? I mean, I might be missing something. It happens. But anyway, that's a guy who I just not going to get there on. Love having a little Paul Reed in the mix. You guys know how I am with that. But I think that's about it for the slate. I mean, Keontae George probably still catching up with his ability, totally fine. Bogdan looks great. Jared Allen, fine. Jordan Poole, we're taking shots. We're taking shots. I don't love it. We're taking shots. Cam Johnson, What minutes? I mean, is he still limited? We got to figure out what's going on with Cam Johnson's minutes before 30. Yeah, 30 minutes. I think he's been playing that. Cam Johnson stats off the bench, 25 minutes, a bit high. I'm not sure he could play 30. I mean, yesterday was a blowout, right? That's the reason why 30 might be fine because he might have lost five there right at the end because of the blowout. Me, 18, 21, 22. That was yesterday, though, right? Yeah, he's coming back from an injury. I'm not comfortable having this much Cam Johnson. I'm going to roll it back. It's, it is right. It's the game where we do have Cam Thomas out. Listen for if they change the limit on Cam Johnson, if that's like something they say. If he starts, might be an indication. But either way, I can't be more than 15, maybe even 10%. I'm worried about that. Tobias, that's another place where I feel like people are just forgetting like that Tobias is pretty good. And that like if this game stays competitive at all, it's because of Maxi and Tobias, right? I very much doubt it's a Paul Reed, Paul Ball. I mean, it could be Buddy Hield as well, right? I guess he just hadn't been getting enough minutes with Melton back in the mix and Lowry, and there's so many other guys. You know what I mean? So if they keep it close, I think it has to be one of those two guys going off, and I don't think it's very likely they keep it close. So I capped it at 15%. Okay, but that's about all I got to say for today. You've seen the core, you've seen all my rules, you've seen all my tweaks. So let me just say, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. Congrats to Greg and also to our own Milk for us so close.